Hello everyone, welcome to Hyrulecraft Weekly Episode 0 for Friday, January 20th, 2011. This is Episode 0, so it's basically a preview for what's to come this year, brand new year for Hyrulecraft. Joining me via Skype, my two wonderful partners for Hyrulecraft. You know him as the lead programmer and part-time musician for the Hyrulecraft project. His name is Brendan Morgan. How you doing, buddy?
I am doing awesome. How about you?
I'm doing fantastic. And then we have with us today, some extra audio there, is our lead creative world designer for Hyrulecraft, Kevin O'Rourke. Howdy.
Hi, Benny.
Thought you forgot to unmute your mic there, just like you forgot to mute it before.
Sorry.
It's all right.
Beat you with axe.
I did, and you know what? Skype was kind of bugging out about it.
I'm going to take a little bit of time to explain today what's going to happen. We're going to talk about the project, basically what we have going on and what we've got cooking for you. As you all might know, this is a big week for us for the big launch of Hyrulecraft. We have a new public server here for limited testing, probably for about another week or so, while we get to show people what's going on, what we have working here. And the first thing I want to talk about is some frequently asked questions we have, and we're going to show people what's going on. First of all, the size of the map is complete. Is it not?
Well, for the overworld, yeah.
The overworld, what we call the Overworld Alpha. Basically, all the main zones are now complete. We have, starting here in the Hyrule Castle Market, as it's loading on me.
Yeah, everything's complete with the exception of the desert.
The Haunted Wasteland has not been done yet. We are probably going to work on that soon. Maybe episode 1 we could spend working on that.
Yeah, but in terms of what's finished in this overworld is, Hyrule Field and everything encompassing that.
And we're going to head over here to, is it Kakariko or Kakariko? I still can't figure that out.
I call it Kakariko.
I said Kakariko my whole life, and then I heard Kakariko.
I prefer Kakariko. It just rolls off the tongue better.
Sounds like a tongue twister to me.
Tomato, who cares? Just show them it.
Alrighty, flying around Kakariko, Tomato Land. Makes sense with all the red roofs we got around here. A little small in my opinion, but yes, we have a windmill. Big news regarding the windmill coming up soon. We're going to fly over here to the graveyard. My favorite zone is the graveyard. For one reason only, is the first zone that we built in Hyrulecraft. When we first started this project, back in May. The graveyard I put together, like I literally spent half a day working on this because I didn't have fly mod. I really didn't use world edit. I had to place each block by hand. I had to measure things out, and that's why I love this zone so much, just because it's it's the oldest zone.
It's like that first milestone. You look at it and it might not look that great, but it has some sentimental value to it that you just can't pass up. I didn't really help with the graveyard. I help with other areas, but I agree with Benny. It's an awesome place.
I wasn't even around.
No, you haven't even seen the project yet at this point. We got some other people on the server. I'm going to mention them out. A lot of people joining us from Zelda Dungeon. We have a post up over there now describing the project. It's our big, I guess, reveal to everyone what Hyrulecraft is. It's been kind of under the radar for now. We've had some posts on some smaller websites, and a few people trying to help us out get exposure, but we finally got the word out there, and it's kind of blown up on us as we're touring Goron City. Now, what's still missing from the map, other than the desert, is all the dungeons. We have not put all the dungeons in here yet, which is part of Stage 2. Kevin, you want to go and explain what Stage 2 is?
Stage 2 is getting all the dungeons in.
As well as getting the beta map.
Yeah, more or less getting all the other content that we want into the world. There's some dungeons that we've been working on, like the Shadow Temple. The Deku Tree needs to be finished. He's like 80% done. The tree's there, areas, dungeon's not. Water Temple is mostly done, yes?
Yeah. I had to level the water out and the subsequent chambers, but the main connecting chambers are mostly there. That's more about 50% done.
We need the Fire Temple, Forest Temple, Spirit Temple.
Shadow Temple. We've got a little bit of a start on Shadow Temple.
Shadow Temple's like, the first floor is completely done.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're working on the part where you fall down into the other part of the dungeon.
Which is gonna be a lot of fun.
But
Couple
phase
of
2 is mostly building.
How did he?
somebody escape.
Who do you think?
Zip.
Okay.
Zemp.
But again, this is an early alpha map. Anybody who manages to escape is because we didn't really
Is
improve it
banned.
well enough. Don't ban Zimp.
No, he's cool.
He's cool. He's
I'm
helping
kidding,
us
I'm
test. This is what these tests are for. As we're flying around Zora's fountain here, I kind of flew through Zora's domain really quick. Other than the main zones in the game, we do want to add some extra stuff because this is going to be a full-on server project. And what does that mean? It means, well, I coined the term MMOMA, which is Massive Multiplayer Online Minecraft Adventure. That's a mouthful.
That is a mouthful.
No more a mouthful than RPG, but still. Which means...
Well, I could argue on that, and I'm sure plenty others could. But go on.
Which means we're going to add lots of things like NPCs and quests and playable dungeons, free build areas, regenerative dungeon or mine shafts, and lots of other really cool features to be seen in the upcoming beta versions of the map, which we'll plan on doing similar limited testings. Right now, this is a limited alpha view. Basically, you get to see the world as it is right now. We'll get the IP to you at the end of the show and in the show description.
You forgot
for
horses.
recording. Horses, too. We want to have horses.
Did we mention player housing?
Yeah.
Player housing, guilds, the whole works. Everything's going to be there. Now, one of the really cool things we've been really talking about, really hoping we can get together, is the use of the Voxeltronic plugin. And Brendan, go ahead and explain what that is.
The Voxeltronic plugin is essentially a cache of different features that allow you to animate blocks in a sequence, whether it be per server tick or with a redstone current. So basically, think of this. You've got a massive gate, and you want it to animate opening, and pistons just aren't feasible. You hit a button, the redstone current goes to it. The server has a stored array of animations that change out the blocks to give it the appearance of animation. It's going to be really awesome. We have a lot of uses for it. Our first use, you know that boulder in Kokiri Forest that prevents you from getting to the sword if you honestly can't dodge it, which is sad. We're going to actually make the boulder, and you'll take damage because you'll suffocate. And so we don't actually have to add any mechanics to that. Other features, the Castle Town Gate.
The drawbridge. Drawbridge on Hyrule Castle. The windmill, of course. I brought that up earlier.
The mouth. Are we doing that with the Deku Tree? No.
No, well, we can later. Right now, I'm wiring pistons up to it.
Well,
you guys can watch me if you really want, but
we'll give everyone a little bit of a sneak peek of what's going on with that towards the end of the show.
Can we talk about another tree here? Or should we save that other particular named tree?
We'll say that. We'll say that for your bit, Kevin.
Okay.
I'm gonna add sunglasses on him.
No.
As I'm giving them a
Please don't.
quick
We tried that in
flyby of Lake Hylia here while it's rendering, because Minecraft's only so fast, even on the best computers.
Oh, and if it looks like I'm ignoring you guys, I'm not, and we're not. I'm just trying to get the chat filtered out and all that good stuff. So, you know what? I'm not saying spam, but make sure it's known that you need my attention, or Kevin's attention.
Benny, look on the lake.
What
on the lake? Beautiful time for a boat ride.
And we got Kevin here riding on his boat. I want to show everyone a quick little sneak peek. I've seen many builds. I'm not going to hate on other builds of the water temple. They're all very good. But one thing I've really seen lacking
tough to do.
Is that everyone's like, okay, I can't fit it in that island. So I'm going to make a really long tunnel all the way over here to make it fit. I said nay. So we're going to look down here and go through this. Yeah, I made water temple fit. I told myself, I want water temple to fit. It's going to fit. This is one of these little side projects I've been really taking my time on because I want to get all the details right. But Water Temple is going to be in here. A lot of the dungeons are going to be in as is. We don't want to warp people away for everything. We want this to be a whole experience. We want everyone to get on here and say, wow, everything's here. They didn't leave anything out. which is the most important factor. But on that note, the one thing we did leave out, the one thing I refuse to build, I don't know if you guys agree with me on this, is Lord Jabu Jabu. I mean, how?
Yeah.
How?
Yeah,
It's like, how do you get him in?
It's to
Poor
scale.
dude.
To scale. He's going to have a lot of tumors. Some extra fins he doesn't need.
Yeah.
Jabu Jabu was out in the sun too much. Well, we could set up warps, but we want to make it seamless. The only warps we're having are warps to the player-owned houses, which are on a separate world to save clutter. And we'll get into that later.
I guess we can tie into that right now. The way the housing, we're thinking about it working, we could always change this later, is we want these houses to feel really exclusive. We don't have a lot of room for these houses. We can't just give everyone a house on Hyrule. So what we're thinking of is having a special VIP area where very exclusive members can have a house on Hyrule, be connected to the world as it is, for easy access and just for that a kind of elitist state. I don't know. I mean, we had some other really neat mechanics. Kevin, you want to explain how the housing might work? How we might set up houses?
The way ideally it could work, and Brendan's gonna probably be like, no, it can't, sorry. Or that it might take a while. Basically, well, we've talked about instances of the server, but I don't think that's very feasible. But for the housing, we could potentially, give players houses, and as you level up or gain materials or get experience or finish quests or something along those lines, you could acquire a house, and depending on the amount of stuff that you do or the things that you collect, you could improve that house. So you would have different stages of the house that you could build, and anything that could really fit in the plot. So giving players a choice or a few choices of houses. Is that a good way to phrase it?
I think it is.
A select few ways of building a house could work.
Which would be a really, really unique feature that isn't seen really on any server. We don't want to go and brag saying our server has this, others don't, but it's the amount of work we put into this. We want this to feel very, very unique, and we want people to come here, have an experience, and then want to come back.
Yeah.
Because if you come
another
here once
option
and you're done,
too was, excuse me, Benny. Another option would be for the free build areas for people to gather materials there, to build their own houses.
Still keep it very Minecrafty.
Yeah. Giving players the ability to build still, instead of having to pick.
Again, those are two options we're working on right now for housing. With that, Kevin, you like talking so much.
Have you guys shown off the areas yet that you guys proposed?
Joining us on Hyrulecraft Weekly, episode 0 is Trevor. Hi.
Hi, everybody. And hi, everybody, if you found your way over here from Zelda Dungeon.
Yeah, so we want to thank them again for throwing a post up for this. I'm very happy that we got this kind of exposure. Something we've been looking for a while. We've been planning this. And
Benny, I want to address something that Beth D11 brought up.
In the chat?
Yeah, he said, how did we come up with this idea? Well, me and Benny...
Yeah, tell the story. Go on. Tell us the story.
Okay, me and Benny were playing Minecraft, and a player on the Minecraft server brought up Zelda. So naturally, being Zelda fans, we started talking about it. I sarcastically said, hey, Benny, let's make a 1-to-1 scale recreation of Ocarina of Time in Minecraft, jokingly. Benny, who cannot detect sarcasm, took it seriously and got bucket and started building like crazy with world edits. Well, a couple months later, bam, this.
Ta-da! Oh, time day. Ta-da! Yep.
We do have a chip-in page, or you can donate to the PayPal. Either or works. Mudkips.
I don't think we have the chip-in. We'll
you
probably
can to the GenGAME studio, and I think there's a notes field, and you can put a note in there for Hyrulecraft, and we'll forward the money on to server expenses for Hyrulecraft.
But
yeah, the servers are expensive. Anything that you can give helps. I don't care if it's 10 cents or $10.
PayPal doesn't like anything under $1.
Yeah.
Right,
Donate
So
over-
it actually does matter if you give 10 cents.
Okay, 10 cents. You're a cheap bastard.
anyways,
10 cents. You probably need that money.
you could save it for gas or something. anyways,
The Yogi. Do we want him in the call?
I'm thinking about wrapping this up. Again, I said I wanted to keep the show very short for today, so we only got a few more things to talk about. But again, the donation thing, we're not going to require anybody to donate this time, but we will have the donate in the show notes once the recording's up. If you're watching us live on Twitch right now, just scroll down to the bottom of the page or somewhere on the page, and there's a little button on there you can click. But Kevin, you've got a nice little thing you've been working on.
I do. Can we show it?
I'm flying over to it right now. Well, what do
Are
you
you?
what do you want to call this little swampy area?
It's the Crannog.
No, I thought
what
it
it's
was.
been called
I thought
by
it was
now.
Mahaku Swamp.
That could work too. The Mahaku Swamp.
What
I
is
kinda
Mohaku?
like that.
Tell us what Mohaku is. Oh
Let's
my
take a
God,
look
there's a
at
tree.
Mohaku.
He is the distant midget cousin of the Deku tree.
I see.
Also, he's very wise.
Very,
Very
very wise.
wise.
He's got his own little question and answer platform here. That's really...
This was one part of where we'd include the Voxeltronics thing again to make his
Cool.
mouth move or his eyes close
And he has a
at
beard.
night.
He has these for beard. He is tree beard.
No, he's not Treebeard.
Really bad Lord of the
Close.
Rings joke.
Me and Brendan spent the better part of an hour giving this guy different types of facial hair, and all of them looked a little bit too much like Peter Griffin
Or Abe Lincoln.
or Abe Lincoln
Or Einstein.
or Einstein.
Oh, Einstein. Some funny stories
So
about
basically,
Einstein that we've... well, we can't really talk about right now.
Yeah. Basically, this area is in between the Gerudo Valley River and the Lake Hylia Lake. So it's like that invisible river that no one ever sees.
I think we should give the premise away. If you cannot see the area in game, but something should hypothetically be there, we put it there.
Yeah. Because...
And one other thing, while we're here in the Mahaku Crannog,
Mhm. Oh, I got
or
to pan the
Mahaku
camera
Swamp,
back over.
whatever it is,
Mhm.
take a look at the housing here, Ben.
Oh yeah, this is another option we have for player housing. Basically, these pre-built houses you can always take down later, but we design them with the idea of a community where they're kind of facing each other, but not. They have multiple entrances on each side. So you're living in one building, but you could always have neighbors that you're going to start interacting with. You know, these people you're going to be questing with more often because they're on the server with you. They're doing the same things you are, and it's really the community aspect is something we're really going to try and focus on for the beta server.
Did
Yep.
you guys
And
talk-
these areas over here could be shops or quest halls.
And Trevor has a comment.
Did I just spoil the fact that you're going to be setting up guild houses, or
No,
we
we can
didn't really talk
actually-
about it.
is that still super
Not at the
secret
time.
alpha stuff?
It's not really secret.
But
It's secret.
guild housing is something we want to look into. If we set up a economy system, it's something we're really thinking about. This is really development phase, the beginning of stage 2. We're talking about what we want, deciding what we want, and then putting it in. And one of the ideas I had for an economy was, oh, there goes my phone, was make it so that houses are not really expensive, but expensive at early levels. It's like you have the money for a house, but you really don't need one because you're not earning enough rupees, which would be our default
Yes,
currency
rupees,
naturally.
of course.
But guild houses would be a lot more expensive for one person. So the idea of having a guild to fund all this money into one giant plot would have to work together. We'd have to balance the money in a certain way where you need everyone's cooperation to keep the guild house funded. Otherwise, your plot goes up for, I guess,
Would you get evicted?
you can get evicted. It'll be
We have
it'll be
Dog the
foreclosed
Bounty Hunter come
on,
on
put
the
up for
server.
auction. It really needs to see that kind of auction mechanic with the houses, which actually I just came up with that on the spot, to be honest. to have like a
There's
real world
Okay.
simulated
Okay.
economy
Okay.
on
Okay.
Hyrulecraft would be really, really neat.
It's all feasible things that could work.
But these are all really the things we have planned for Hyrulecraft. But for now we have this little limited testing area. We want everyone walking around, looking at the server, finding out what's going on. Ask as many questions as you need to. I'm gonna wrap up this little
should
tour for
people send
today.
feedback, Benny?
I'm sorry.
Where should people send feedback?
I'm gonna wrap up the little the little show right now. If you want send any kind of feedback, send it to me at bennygengame.net. That's my email. Benny, the letter G, at gengame.net. GENGAME. You can also follow me on Twitter. Wait for it. At NightPhoenix16, NIGHTPHOENIX 16. Kevin, thank you for joining me today. Where can they find you on the Twitter?
On Twitter, you can find me at _Hawkeye. And you could also send me an email, kevin@gengame.net. If you have any questions or things related to anything I've worked on.
And Trevor, you had a short little stint on Hyrulecraft, but I'd like you to give your info too.
Well, you can find me on this channel, live streaming occasionally. I run a podcast called the GenGAME Cast. It runs once weekly that you could subscribe to in iTunes. You could also follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/themags, and feel free to reach out to me there or send me an email, trevor@gengame.net. I'm going to be live tonight, too, so always be sure to follow my Twitter feed to know when I go live with other shows.
Brendan, where can everyone find you?
Well, I follow you around like a lost puppy, so... or is it the other way around? The world may never know.
It's the other way around to me.
But you can contact me at brendanwebdeveloper@gmail.com.
No surprise what your profession is.
Yeah. I wonder what he does. He's a pastry chef. You can contact me there through Benny. You know, most people speak to me through Benny anyway, so it doesn't matter. And good and bad criticism, I don't care. If I'm doing something wrong, let me know, because I'm programming this, and
we want to know. If something isn't right, we want to know, because we only get really one chance to fix it. If we don't get to fix this before it goes live, well, then we're stuck with it, and we're really going to hate ourselves.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, this is going to be pretty much a living, breathing world. I mean, if things need to be fixed, they'll be patched. Right?
Right. Just like any good MMO.
We're going to leave it alone.
No.
Just like any good MMO, we're going to attempt to patch it with a patch, or fix it with a patch, but it's not going to be fixed. I want to thank everyone for watching tonight. My name is Benny Gerard. I am your host. Thank you for watching Hyrulecraft Weekly. Episode 0. It's a very short episode. We were just here talking about everything. Stay tuned for after the live stream. We'll be taking all your questions in chat. Thank you for watching. Have a good night.